Our saving and loading system should be working pretty well now, but the menu system is a bit of a mess. So what we're going to work on now is an update to the menu system so that we can navigate between canvases and even delete our saved games so that we don't end up with a whole bunch of them that we can't manage. Seems like an important thing to allow our players to do. So I'm going to stop playing and we're going to take a look at our canvases. We've got the new game canvas, which is not on right now. I'll enable it. And then we have the load game canvas, which we can't see anymore. If I want to bring this load game canvas in front of my new game canvas, I can adjust the sort order on the canvas, just turning it up to a higher number like 1, but now I can't see my new game canvas anymore. So what I'm going to do is disable the load game canvas with the sort order set to 1. Then we'll change this load game button so that it enables the load game canvas. It's a pretty simple way to set it up. We'll expand out the new game canvas and go to the load game button, and then we'll scroll down and remove the load game button script. Hit the plus on the on click so that we have a new listener whenever we click this button. And the target for the thing that we want to run code on when we click the button is the load game canvas object. So I'm going to drag it right in and then choose from the function list. We'll choose game object and set active. What this is going to do is call the set active method on that object, which will turn it to either active or deactive. Right now it's set to deactive because the checkbox is off. If I set the checkbox to true here, then when we click this button, this active checkbox right here will turn on and the UI will pop up. Let's go and test that out. So I'll play, turn that load game canvas off. And as soon as I click the load game 1 here, it should pop up my menu. There we go. I see the load game canvas appearing. I'm going to stop playing now and let's add a back button so that we can go back out of load game mode. To do that, we're going to turn on the load game canvas. I'm going to go to my load game button here and duplicate it with Control or Command D. And then I'm going to drag it down on top of the load game canvas. Now it appears because it's on this canvas and not the new game canvas. New game canvas still has its own button. If I turn off my load game canvas, you can see there's still the button there, but the load game canvas has one as well. I'm going to select this load game button and I'm going to put it right up here in the corner by clicking on the rect transform tool, holding Alt and Shift and clicking the top left corner. Now I also want to shrink this down a little bit because it's going to be a back button. I want it to be a little bit smaller. Make it maybe a height of 100 and then rename it to back button. Right up here, just rename and hit enter. Now the next thing I want to do is change the text because it says load game 1. So I'm going to expand out the text here, the child of the back button, go select it, and as long as the text mesh pro text is expanded, I should be able to write right in here or type right in here. And I'm going to put the word back with a capital B. It's still all in uppercase mode, so it doesn't matter how I case it here, but I like to case it correctly so that if I decide to change the font, it'll still look right. Now that I've got my back button, I'm going to go to the back button object again, scroll down and find the on click listener. All I have to do is uncheck this checkbox, save my scene, and press play and watch what we've got. Right now the load game canvas is going to be up by default because I turned it on by default, but I can go back and turn it off, and I can go back into the load game menu just by hitting the load game button. Now, as a last thing to make this a little bit fancier, we could add a little icon here, maybe something that shows that we're going back, a back indicator or an arrow. And to do that, we can just right click on the back button, go to UI and choose image. We'll get a new image that's sitting right on top of my sprite. If I go to the scene view, you can see it right here. I could drag it over or move it, but I like to use the rect transform tool instead. So click the rect transform tool, hold, Alt and Shift, and then click the left side. That's going to move it right over here to the left, and I just need to pick a sprite for it. Now, there is a pretty good sprite that we can use already in our pack. If you just search for sprites and search for the word left, you should see a sign left, and look at that. I think it fits pretty good. I want to shrink it down just a little bit, though, so let's adjust the height to be maybe 80 by 80 instead of 100 by 100, so it's not going over the edges. I think that looks pretty good, so now I'll just disable the load game canvas, press play, and make sure that we've got the flow that I expect, except for I've got the number 1 after my load game text here. That's the only thing that I think is an issue. Let's see, go back and forth. That back button's looking good, and I can load into a level. I'm going to stop playing, make sure that I've saved my scene, and type in a commit message that we added menu navigation to load game canvas, and check it in.